this morning, and welcome to a Welcome Home Eddie George edition of the OHIO podcast. Do us a big favor this morning and smash that like button. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, ringing that bell, get notified every time we go live or something new drops. And of course, make a comment down in the comment section below. Let's welcome Eddie home, back to the great state of Ohio. So put your comments down in the comment section below. Welcome Eddie home, folks. All right, big news broke late last night. We were actually on our live show when the news broke, and we avoided talking about it, even though some folks in the chat were mentioning it. And that's that Eddie George accepted the offer to become the 21st head coach of the Bowling Green State Falcons up in Northwest Ohio. Bowling Green. Eddie George, of course, famously Heisman Trophy winning running back at Ohio State in the mid 90s, went on to have I believe, an 8 or 9 season career with the Houston Oilers at the time, became the Tennessee Titans after year number 2 with him in his career, and ended up playing in a Super Bowl, lost by just a couple yards to Orlando Pace's St. Louis Rams, which was my favorite Super Bowl. I've by far my favorite Super Bowl. The Titans versus the Rams. What a great game that was. But Eddie's coming home, dude. He has spent the last 4 seasons as the head coach of Tennessee State University, down in Division One AA, FBS, um, FCS. FBS. I can't remember what they're called. Too many acronyms these days. Just Division One AA is what we used to call it back in the day. But anyways, he is coming home to Ohio. Now, what's interesting about this move, and what I would like to explore a little bit this morning, is why Eddie is deciding to further his career and come up to the FBS. Excuse me, these morning videos, sometimes my voice hasn't woke up yet. The FBS level, right? Like, why would Eddie decide to do that? It's not like Eddie needs more money. Okay, he's got plenty of money. Both he and his wife are extremely successful. She is a singer, actress. Eddie, of course, had, like I said, a successful NFL career. He owns multiple restaurants. I believe he owns one in Nashville. He also owns one in Columbus, Ohio. Eddie's Grill 27. I've ate there before. If you've never ate at Eddie's restaurant, I highly recommend going. Very nice establishment. It's not really a sports bar. It's more of a nice sit down restaurant. I would highly recommend you go check that out. Now, on top of that, Eddie, so it's not like Eddie needs money, right? It's not like Eddie's, hey, I'm going to further my career and go make an extra $1 million going from TSU to BGSU. That's not what this is about at all, okay? So you can just throw that out the window. In fact, Eddie didn't even need to get into coaching, right? Like, there was no reason for him to even go to TSU and become the head coach there, because it's not like he needed money, right? This is like a Brian Hartline situation. Brian Hartline don't need the money. He just enjoys doing it. This is how he wants to spend his time in his career, being a coach and helping young people achieve their goals as wide receivers. And Eddie, of course, wants to be similar. Now, his time at Tennessee State, he started in 2021. The first season they were 5-6. 2022, 4-7. 2023 they got things turned around. They went 6-5, and then this past year they went 9-4, and he was the Big South OVC Coach of the Year. They ended up going to the playoffs for the first time since he had been there. They lost in the first round of the playoffs, but yeah, he got him there. And so he leaves Tennessee State with a 24-22 record overall, 13-12 in the conference, and he heads to Bowling Green, who is coming off a winning season where they went 7-6 under Scott Loeffler, who decided to leave the program and head to Philadelphia in the NFL. I think he's now on the staff there with the Eagles. So and Scott had two winning seasons in a row there at Bowling Green. They were 7-6 this past season. They were 7-6 in 2023, and that was after he had basically had losing seasons every season up until that point, right? So uh, they were 3-9 in 2019, and then of course 2020, the COVID year, they were 0-5, and then they were 4-8 in 2021. They were 6-7 in 2022. So he was building it up, and then the past 2 years, Bowling Green ends up going 7-6 and going to bowl games, right? So. But Bowling Green as a program, although a lot of people think Bowling Green, like some people think Bowling Green's actually in Kentucky because there's a Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's not the case. Bowling Green State University is actually in Northwest Ohio, real close to Toledo. And uh, for the most part, Bowling Green is a winning program. They have a winning percentage of 565 all time, 570 wins to 432 losses. They have 17 conference championships to their credit. They've been to 15 bowl games also. So Bowling Green is a winning program. And of course, famously, Ohio State fans would like to tell you that Urban Meyer got his head coaching start in Bowling Green. He went from being a wide receiver coach in Notre Dame to being the head coach at Bowling Green in 2001. They went 8-3 his first year, and then they went 9-3 in 2002. And that's when he said, "I'll take these two winning years, and I will go to the Mountain West Conference at the time in Utah, and I'll turn them into a winning program." And of course, then he went on to be in Florida. I'm not sure that Eddie's taking that same path, to be completely honest with you here. I don't believe Eddie's looking at the Urban Meyer path and saying, "Hey, I can go to Bowling Green, win a couple years with a pretty good roster and a pretty good team, win a couple years, and then I can go be the head coach at Utah." Like I don't think that's what Eddie's doing here. If anything, Buckeye fans, I believe Eddie George is doing this to trampoline himself to Ohio State. That is my belief. I believe Eddie wants to finish his career on staff at Ohio State. Now, does that mean Eddie would be the head coach at Ohio State? Probably not. Probably not. Um, but I'll say this: a lot of us feel that Ohio State is not the place where you start your head coaching career, right? So, a la, uh, you know, most of the coaches we've had, they've went on, coached other places, established themselves as head coaches before ever coming to Ohio State. Ryan Day is really the one and only in my lifetime coach at Ohio State who had no head coaching experience before he was given that job, right? I just don't see Ohio State doing that again. A lot of people like to say, "Oh no, it's going to be Brian Hartline or James Laurinaitis." I just don't know, man. I mean, I guess there's a chance Brian Hartline possibly. He has been there on the coaching staff longer than James Laurinaitis has. He is by far one of the most successful recruiting coaches in all of college football. But this is his first year as an OC, his very first year this year, right? So let's hypothetically say down the road, Ryan Day wins championship number 2 or 3 or whatever, and decides, you know what, I've done everything I've wanted to achieve here. All my kids are now graduated high school, and Nina and I want to go back and we want to coach the Philadelphia Eagles or whatever, okay? And he wants to go back to the NFL. And in that meantime, in these 4 or 5 years from now, Eddie George has established himself as the best coach in the MAC, and Bowling Green's winning MAC championships, and he has all that head coaching experience. And Brian Hartline has been the OC. That is an interesting decision. Ross Bjork, who I would assume would be the athletic director still, would have on his plate to make here. Do I go with Eddie, who's been a head coach now for the better part of a decade, coached at TSU, turned that program around, came up to Bowling Green, and hypothetically, we're just talking in hypothetics here, has made Bowling Green a championship level program in the state of Ohio. Former Buckeye, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, 9 years of coaching experience, something like that, head coaching experience. Or does he go with Brian Hartline, who's been with the program now for the better part of, gosh, 12 to 15 years, right? Has paid his dues coming up the program, similar to Ryan Day, and has established himself as a national championship winning offensive coordinator. Who would you go with in that situation? That is fascinating to think about. But I just want to present this to you. And this is again a complete hypothetical. No one really knows what the future holds or what you would do. But in this instance, Eddie has head coaching experience. And for 100 plus years at Ohio State outside of Ryan Day, that would have been the guy you choose. So whether Eddie ends up at Ohio State as a head coach or not, what I love about this is he is versifying his coaching portfolio, if you will. He's giving himself a more of an opportunity to prove himself again. And let's say in 2 years he's been successful, and now we have an open running backs coach at Ohio State. I think you would definitely have to consider Eddie, wouldn't you, for that position? Um, maybe he could be the assistant coach on some level. I don't know. Like I just feel like even in a year or two, given the situation that coach in the coaching carousel that there is in college football, Eddie is positioning himself to get to Ohio State in a roundabout way. Now, Eddie has I don't think Eddie has ever publicly come out and say my goal is to coach at Ohio State. I don't think he's ever done that. But you have to believe that in his heart, with his love for his university, which he absolutely has, that there's some place in there where he wants to say, you know what, it would be awesome to coach at my alma mater, right? I think that there's somewhere in there where that's the case. So looking at the situation, looking at Eddie, hearing this news today, number one, thrilled to death for Bowling Green. Like I have a lot of friends who graduated from Bowling Green. It's one of the better educational schools as far as an education degree to go on and become a school teacher in the state of Ohio. Um, and so I know a lot of my former classmates and friends who went to Bowling Green. I'm thrilled to death for them. I'm thrilled to death for us Buckeye fans. It gives us a reason to watch Bowling Green and cheer for them. Sorry, Toledo. I have a lot of friends who are Toledo Rockets fans as well. Sorry, I'm a Bowling Green fan now, guys. Sorry, that's my allegiance lies with the Scarlet and Gray. When one of our own's coaching with the other team here in the MAC, that's my guy. So Bowling Green, yeah, you're going to be on Bogsy's watch list this fall because of Eddie George. So Buckeye fans, we are absolutely ecstatic for that. I mean, you got Maction on Tuesday night or Thursday night, whatever night they have Maction on television. Bowling Green will be must see TV for Ohio State fans, man. So this is a huge get for Bowling Green. I really think they have struck big with this one, and I think Bowling Green has got themselves a future star at the head coaching position. The only question will be how long does he stick around for that? 4 years at Tennessee State. Does he give Bowling Green 3, 4 years? Get them to 3 or 4 bowl games, maybe win a MAC championship, and then he bounces to the next one? I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to watch nonetheless. And congratulations to Eddie. Gosh, it's so good to have him back home in the Buckeye State, one of our own coming home, where he brought home the hardware as a Heisman Trophy, a winning running back, and now he's coaching for Bowling Green. This is absolutely a fantastic day to be a Buckeye and to be a Falcon for all you Bowling Green fans out there. Again, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We absolutely appreciate each and every single one of you. Let us know what you think down in the comment section below about Eddie being a Bowling Green State Falcon head coach. Hey, and who would you go with if you're Ross Bjork in my hypothetical 5 years down the road? Would you take Eddie since he's got head coaching experience? or would you stay true to the guy who stayed true to you and Brian Hartline? That's an interesting scenario being laid out there. All right, your verse for the week or for today is from John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Have a great Monday and a great week, everybody. Don't forget tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, um, our second call-in show kicks off. Chris the Wild Man Wilds is going to be doing a little Monday Night Raw at 8 o'clock with all of you tonight. Call in, talk Buckeyes. I'm sure he's going to want to talk about Eddie. His main topic tonight is going to be about Scum fans. So he wants to talk about the fans from the team up north tonight. That should be an interesting show for all of you to check out. 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on the OHIO podcast. Ring the bell, get notified. Don't miss it, guys. Have a great week, everybody. Be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH in Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. Till next time, go Bucks.